Hey, what's up, guys? Coming out back in the video, and today I'm going to do my Toonami review, March 4th through March 5th, 2023. Put in a disclaimer there. For the crossover One Piece episode will be a separate video. So yes, I am going to do a review on that, but I'm going to have a separate video on that. So yeah, so stay tuned to that. So so here goes for the Toonami review. So so the block starts out with My Hero Academia there. So episode starts out with we see Todoroki there taking on the blue flame guy there. The blue flame guy technically was taking him on and stuff like that. He was using his flames there to actually to actually fend off Todoroki there. Todoroki was actually saying, "Why you avenge us there all those years there and stuff like that." That's what he was saying. He said it was nothing against you and stuff, or he's like it's nothing against them and stuff like that. But technically, um, he's like blame the man who betrayed me and stuff like that. And he mostly was talking to Endeavor there, and Endeavor was like actually was technically frozen in place there. He didn't know what to say there at all and stuff like that. So he was technically frozen in place. He's like, "You bastard," there. And so mostly he was trying to throw some like flames there at him. He didn't really look that great when he was like throwing those flames there and stuff. So technically he was actually was saying like, well, yeah, he was technically throwing those flames there and stuff like that, and it just didn't really work for him and stuff like that. Technically Deku there at this time was technically fully injured there. He was technically fully injured and stuff like that. And he's like, he was trying to stand up, but he can't really stand up there because he was technically screwed up at the time there when he was technically got fucked over the by the by the um, by the One for All court there. He had the One for All technically screwed his body over, so he couldn't like stand up and fight there. So that was going on with that there. We see Todoroki there. Was actually saying something about mostly one of the leader villains guys was actually saying to Todoroki. So he's like saying like or not Todoroki. Yeah, he was actually saying to Shigaraki, my bad. He was saying to someone to Shigaraki there, saying, "Well, why you didn't make no plans there?" Shigaraki told him to shut up there, and he's like, "Let me think there" and stuff like that. So when he was mostly attacking him and stuff like that for it, mostly Deku was using Black Whip there to actually fling across the thing there and stuff, and mostly gets defeated there. The fourth hero there was trying to hold stuff back, but he was having a hard time. Endeavor, mostly Deku says something about Endeavor there, something positive about Endeavor, and mostly Endeavor punches the big guy out. And that's where the episode ends for My Hero Academia. So after My Hero Academia, we had another episode of My Hero Academia. I'm not going to do that one. Also, we have the right after that, after the second episode of My Hero Academia, we had the One Piece crossover episode. I'm going to do a separate review on that. So I'm going to do a separate review on that. I'm going to do a review, but I'm going to do a separate review on that. After that episode ends, we had One Piece. So the original One Piece, not the crossover one, the regular One Piece. So episode starts out with we see Luffy was trying to get a command there. He was technically trying to go after Caesar Clown there. Mostly Caesar Clown was trying to close the door on everybody there and stuff like that for it. And he said mostly his revenge is going to be coming more in Super and stuff like that. Mostly they're like, we're trying to figure out what is that raining there. A smoker comes in. He's like, what is that raining? He told that to Law there. Law was actually saying something to it. He's like, yeah, Caesar Clown is trying to hold us back there and stuff like that. And mostly he was trying to hold us back and stuff like that for it. Um, technically, he's like, well, don't waste your time and stuff like that. So while I was actually saying something, he's like, well, he was like technically walking there and stuff like that. Luffy was actually passed Law and stuff like that for it when he technically beat up all those soldiers. Technically, the Navy was technically wanting to fight the Straw Hats there, and mostly technically they were going out of control. And then he's like, "What the heck?" He's like, "We're supposed to work together there." That's what Zoro was saying. And he's like, "Well," "Well, if you want to get past us there," and he's like, he mostly takes on the fucking G5 Navy, kicks their butt there and stuff like that. Mostly they kick the G5 Navy's butt there. Technically, Captain Shigi there, she told him to just let him go there and stuff like that. He's like, what's the point? We just need to fight in them and stuff like that. So technically he lets him go there and stuff like that for it. They're like, why, Captain Shigi? Why you let them go? He's like, well, she was actually saying, she's like, it's not our business to deal with them and stuff like that. That's what she was saying. So when that was going on with that stuff there, they were trying to run away from the thing. They blow up the hole there from the door. The poison gas was coming in the building there. They were like, oh fuck, we have to get out of here before we died. Shigi wanted to stay behind there, but her men technically just took the sacrifice there and mostly killing themselves with the poison gas. Technically, that's what actually happened there. They throw her in the loading. She's like, no, I don't want my men dying there and stuff like that for it. So, and mostly they close the door, give them a thumbs up and stuff like that. And then mostly we see here Caesar Clown says now they're all gonna die in his hands, and that's where the episode ends. And so that was One Piece. Next we had Naruto Shippuden. So episode starts out with we see Killer Bee's Tsukunomi dream there. So mostly we see Killer Bee getting captured by the Tsukunomi there. We mostly follow his dream there. His dream was kind of a weird dream in a way. Mostly he's with the Two Tails Chinchuriki, and mostly Killer Bee was with the Two Tails Chinchuriki there, and the tail beasts were really small there. So I guess the tail beasts kind of lost their powers. That's what they were saying there. Where technically they can actually be on the Chinchuriki's arm length there, or on their head, or wherever on their body and stuff like that. So technically, mostly the villagers are using as these Chinchuriki as kidnappers there and stuff like that for it. Technically, Killer Bee was telling the Two Tails there to actually bust Gar out there and stuff like that. So they're like, well, we need to distract him and stuff like that to go after Gar and stuff like that. That's what they were saying. Technically busts into the fucking Gar's chamber there, and Gar's like, wait, what the heck are you doing here and stuff like that. He's like, well, he does his rap thing. He's like, oh, I'm trying to bust you out there and stuff like that. So he mostly busts Gar out. They get attacked by the fucking thing there. Technically, Edo, the Eight Tails, actually fought the puppet there and kicking the puppet's ass there. And mostly they technically got Gara there out with Chikaku on his side. Mostly they were like actually, and the Two Tails was actually saying, oh, Chikaku, that's you and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, hey there, and stuff like that. That's what they were saying. And now he's like, we got One Tails there. Now we're gonna have to go get Nine Tails, and mostly Karma there. So they were going after. So they head off to the Leaf Village there. The Leaf Village kept Naruto as a mostly as a prisoner also, and he's like mostly Kurama's on Naruto's head there. I thought it was pretty funny. Naruto actually had Kurama on his head, and he's like, come on, you need to get me ramen and stuff like that. And then mostly he's like, come on, and so he's like, you need to let me out. I'm gonna be the Hokage and stuff like that. And he's like, and then mostly Kurama's like, he's like, calm down, Naruto, and stuff like that. And that's what the Nine Tails was saying. Um, aka Kurama. Mostly was actually that's what the Nine Tails was saying there. And then mostly we see Gara and Killer B were right there. He's like, well, we're gonna bust you out of here and stuff like that. And then mostly Shikaku was trying to touch the bar there. He's like, that head instead. He's like, that head, man, and stuff like that. And then he's like, well, and Kurama's like, well, yeah, that's a mostly a fence thing for Tail Beast and stuff like that. So technically, Killer Beast just busts the bars anyways. He's like, well, we can get you out there, and then mostly. He drops Naruto's ramen. Naruto gets pissed off at Killer Bee for dropping his ramen there, and mostly they get sucked up into the thing there and stuff like that. And he's like, Karno's saying, he's like, everybody's okay there, and then mostly he's like, oh, the one tails of the one or the Chinchuriki of the sand and the Chinchuriki of the cloud are trying to capture the Chinchuriki of the trying to capture our Chinchuriki of the leaf. He's like, I'm gonna make you the Chinchuriki too there and stuff like that, and then that's what Tsunade was actually saying. mostly he's like, well, how about Gar's like, how about a game of chance there, and then mostly he rolled the dice there. Tsunade loses like she does there. She's like most we all know she's a gambling and she always loses there, and that's why they call her the sucker. Even in the original series. She does the chance there. Mostly she did with mostly Chikaku became the thing there. They rolled the dice and he's like, oh man, he's like, that's too hard there. And then mostly Chikaku's like, oh crap, I'm feeling fucking sick. Shit. And she's like, whoa, you're trying to capture the thing, them and stuff like that. And they mostly run away. They tell spits oil right on her. She's like, crap like that. And then she's like, after him and stuff. So technically they're trying to run away and stuff like that. So mostly they weren't trying to run away. Mostly they were talking to Naruto saying why they actually got him there, because there's some type of thing there. It's only Jinchuriki will know there. That's what he was actually saying and stuff like that. So technically they go into the ramen shop there, and they're like, oh yeah, time to eat there, and then they're like, well, we have to go after the Seven Tails in Waterfall Village. So technically he's like, oh come on, we need to get something to eat. So technically Kurama was actually saying, why you want to eat? He's like, well, he's like, don't think about food. He's like, we need to go with him. That's what the Nine Tails said, aka Kurama. Kurama was saying that to Naruto there. And then he's like, come on, he's like, I'm hungry there and stuff like that. He's like, oh, well, yeah, and stuff like that. And mostly they're eating the ramen there. Naruto, Gara, and Chobi are eating the ramen there. Mostly they captured them there. Naruto did a Shadow clone. Gar did a Sand clone, and technically Kobe did some like octopus clone there. So technically they're like, so they attack there, and technically Kurama saying uses chakra there to Naruto. Naruto turns into his Nine-Tails cloak, and mostly defeating them and stuff like that. Mostly they technically knocked him like flat there. They knocked him in the Ombu flat, and then they go to the hidden waterfall village. And then they're like, oh, this is the home of the Seven Tails there. We need to do something about it. And then mostly out of nowhere, the Akatsuki show up. He's like, oh, 3 Jinchuriki we can actually fight against and stuff like that. And then mostly they fight there. Technically, Naruto taking on Itachi. B taking on Sorcery there, and Guard taking on the Beta Red there, and that's where the episode ends. So, yep, uh, that's that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, they also have Primal, but that was a rerun. So yep, comment, rate, and respond to Toots Barrels. We like Little Barrels. Please subscribe. Hit the notification once you uploads. Comment, respond to Toots Barrels. Like her out. Add a piece.